All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a Serious Angler podcast. We'll be previewing the next Bassmaster Elite event.
Talking like the way I text.
What?
You're talking the way I text.
Well, at least it was probably spelled right.
Yeah, probably.
We're back. The mess is back. And Deacon's out of jail. He's joined us once again.
Had a get out of jail free card. That's great.
So we got the crew minus Brennan tonight. Brennan is the lucky guy out of our group that's on Sturgeon Bay right now fishing. So he's the lucky man of the group here. And we'll be previewing Lay Lake, which I think, as far as we've been talking offline, has been an interesting event to try to pick for, at least for fantasy fishing. We haven't really gone through Drain the Lake just yet. But boys, we're back with another event. And Santee Cooper. Let's just kind of start diving right into things. What do you guys think? Thoughts going away from it? Did you expect it to be that tough? Were you surprised?
I feel like Santee Cooper is a tough lake when it's not in the spawn. So, I mean, for them not to have limits all 4 days, I was not surprised for some guys to make the top 10 that way because a big fish or two big fish carry you a really long way at that venue. I'm actually really excited and happy for Luke that he was able to get the blue trophy. That was really cool. And it was an event that set up really well for him. So I think that might have been the most surprising part was that Luke Palmer got the blue trophy.
I think it's long overdue.
Yeah, very long overdue.
I was expecting Luke. Maybe this is a wrong way to put it, but like those super consistent guys, like your guys that are just always, I mean, think of like a Brock Mosley or like an Aaron Martins, like those guys that are just consistently just so good at finishes, but that win evades them. I mean, for being, what is it, his third year in the elites? How many years in the elites has he been in?
I think this is like fourth or fifth.
Okay. But still, to be that early in your career to get a win for being one of those super consistent guys, like it was awesome to watch. Like I was fired up for him. I think that was really cool. I think another big takeaway from the event for me was just the spawning fish still going on. Seems like everything's behind in the country, and I love spawning fish. And I feel like I've watched Drew Benton and Drew Cook spawn fish for the last like ever Elite Series events. So it's been fun to watch it all go.
Yeah.
I think the elephant in the room is another scope tournament, even though it was shallow, right? Like,
yeah.
Really? The best part was watching Menendez talk about how he had to turn all of his scope stuff off so he could catch his big bass. You got to turn it all off or they run away. And then Luke's going, there's still one more left because you can see him scopes and catches that one too. And you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, his tree on the final day, he caught, did he say 4 off of the one tree?
Yeah, and he kept throwing at it because he kept seeing them. But they just had this big monologue from Menendez where it's like, well, if I don't turn off all my electronics, they won't bite. And like, it wasn't right after that, but they switched to Luke, and he was like, oh, yeah, there's one right there. And he just kept casting until he caught it. It's crazy.
That would have been
I think it helps too. Go ahead.
So I was saying it would have been really funny if it was back to back. Where he's like,
or like the split screen going back and forth on audio.
Talking crap about it. And it's like, this is the most amazing thing ever.
Who is right?
Mm-hmm. But I'm not surprised at some of the big bags put up. I was more surprised the amount of people that didn't get limits throughout the event. Like Matt Robertson, I think, had 12 fish in the event, and he was top 10. Polnick, I think 14 or 13. One of the two. Like there was obviously size was there, but like there's a lot of people that just didn't come in with 5, especially on like day 1, day 2.
Wasn't Luke the only one that caught a limit all 4 days? I think so.
There was more than that. Menendez. No, Menendez had 4.
I think it was just Luke. That's pretty crazy. So with that level of fishermen, that's insane. I talked to Bryant Smith after the first day, and I said, nice work. I mean, like, can you keep it up? And the first thing he said is, there are some big names that didn't catch 2 fish or something like that. Because he's so, like, his eyes are so open. Like, oh, there's Hackney over there. And, like, so when I was like, dude, just go out and do it again. He goes, I'm not kidding, Jake. It's not easy. Like, there are some awesome fishermen that couldn't catch more than 3 fish. But it was pretty crazy.
The results, and I can't see. Here we go. They still have a bass track. Palmer had 20.
I think there was a few guys outside the top 10 cut that.
Yeah, the only guy
that
in the
had
top
15
10.
fish, but
Yeah.
That had 20 fish was Palmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy.
You are correct.
It's wild, dude.
It's good fishing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, one other thing is Brandon freaking Cobb, dude. Another 3rd place finish.
yeah, he's on a roll.
He's leading AOI, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think he's got like a 12-point lead or something like that. I saw.
Wow.
Let's see what the AO. So we
He's
got.
another one of those guys that's just like around the spawn, give it like slightly post, slightly pre, or during the spawn. Like he is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the lead with 387. Drew Cook in second with 369. Tyler Rivette in third, 349. Jacobson and Welcher. We got Mike Iaconelli in sixth, though.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. Which, if he can hold off like Sabine, Lay, and you get towards the north, could we see an Ike AOI season?
I think Ike will do well at Lay. Like he always does good on like weird, grindy post spawn events. I feel like
his. I don't know if you guys have listened to. I think the most recent Bass U was okay. No, I confuse Ike Live with Bass U all the time with who their guests are. But the Bass U that Ike did talking about his new practice strategy this year was actually pretty eye opening. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys.
What is it? No.
So I don't want to give it all away because it really is a great episode. I encourage everybody to go listen to it. So he talked about how essentially he chooses mid-lake everywhere from a practice style and does not pick up he locks his rod locker and does not fish like the first full 2 days and just goes and rides around and sees as much as he can, graphing, making as many waypoints as possible.
Wow.
It was
ouch.
I haven't finished the episode yet.
For 2 days. So he has 1 day to fish.
Yeah, so like there's still more to get into, but like he just will ride around, not he says he keeps his rod locker locked, puts his key in his truck and goes and dumps the boat in and goes and rides around and looks for as many things as he possibly can.
Well, and also just I love driving like that to like look at good water, right? I mean, like not even necessarily graphing, but at least just maybe from a shallow perspective of like looking for that right watercolor and just life and seeing things moving around. Like I feel like I spend way too much time fishing, and it's really good to drive around.
I got a good story for you guys about that. So we just had a big tournament back home here where they gave a boat away for first place. It was big open, no off limits.
Didn't Luke Clausen win that, or who won that?
Yeah, Luke Clausen won it. And I remember like it's a labyrinth, like it's huge. Yeah, it was really cool. But good fisherman, really good fisherman. And Luke shows up. And I remember like the second day of practice, I see this guy and it's legal, but he's on the trolling motor with the outboard running and he's just burning banks. And you're talking about a body of water that like 100 boats just swallows it up. It's not huge, but it's got a bunch of dunes everywhere. It's like just imagine 1 million islands. So you've got a ton of shoreline to cover. And they're not everywhere. And if you fish around a dune and find out there's no fish there, you spent so much time doing it. Well, Luke spent 3 days because it was the perfect weather, like perfect sun, no wind. They were coming up. It was getting ready to spawn. All these fish had come up. And he said that he spent 3 full days, never made a cast. And all he did was idle. He stood on the front of the boat with it. You can do that legally in that tournament. And so he stood on the front of the boat and just covered water and kicked everyone's butt. He kicked the lake hammers' butts, all those guys. And everybody was like, well, Luke's a local. Well, Luke's an amazing fisherman, but he's not a local. He's been gone all year long. And I remember when I saw him go by me, I'm like, who is that cat road hunting? Because we call it road hunting.
Cat.
Who is that cat road hunting the dudes? Like,
he was looking for spawners.
He's looking for it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter because when it gets warm like that, right? All those fish come up. Even pre-spawners come up, right? Like when it's warm and hot and sunny and we've got that 4 or 5 days. And I remember looking at him and the first dumb thought that went through my head was, I don't even think that's legal. It wasn't like, hey, that's freaking genius. That dude saw 250% more water than I did. You know what I mean? While I was fishing and flipping them, and like I ended up with 1 day's worth of fish, and he won the tournament. And I remember thinking that, like, that's genius. He saw everything he needed to see. And I don't know if he saw fish or found them, but it's like the one thing that I remember my first thought was, I don't even know if that's legal. And then I went back to being an idiot. Instead of going like, that might be the winning way to practice this tournament. Like he must have had, that's crazy. Even if those fish suck down because of weather, they're using the area, right? And half of the tournament like that is just knowing where they're at.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, anytime if it's around the spawn, man, like the Delta, there was 1 day of practice where it was really slick. Like I didn't make a cast. I was on 10 on the trolling motor all day, marking.
I wish somebody would have like locked my rod lockers. The problem is fishing is so fun. Like,
right,
figuring them out, and it's so much fun. And like,
I like
that is a seasoned pro's perspective. You know how miserable it must be to listen to your outboard bomb as you're going in circles for like 3 days straight. The only time it feels good is when they hand you the check and say, "Congrats, you won." You know what I mean? But
so my question, so does he? So he's doing that right because he's able to go 4 miles an hour on his outboard rather than burn his trolling motor up, and he's turning with the trolling motor. You're saying?
Yeah, we call it road hunting up here.
Okay, and then and then if you just start getting like you're about to hit something, you're just turn, and then you run back and turn the motor off. Like,
you better be quick on your feet. It's not the safest thing in the world. So to all the viewers, it's not intelligent. Don't do it. Think about hitting a stump. Yeah. I want you to give you a real perspective here. Hit a stump, fall forward, boat still running in gear, runs you over, you die. Right. We call it road hunting. But guys would take like braid and hook it to their kill switches.
Oh.
So that if they saw something coming, they just pop it. It is completely illegal in any of the bigger circuits. So you just have to do it on your trolling motor. But the point was that you can cover 1 million stinking miles and do it all day long because your trolling motor batteries don't die.
Right.
Super smart. It just totally matches with the Ike and Ellie way of looking, right?
Super smart, semi-lethal.
Semi-lethal, semi-legal.
That's right.
Like I know in Bass and MPFL you can't do that. If the big motor's running, you got to be on your butt. You know what I mean? Right. So a lot of guys will get like a throttle. A lot like the old school guys don't like pedals because they can sit on like a cushion and put it in gear, and they don't have to push the pedal, and they can look that way. But
in this scenario, right? Like team derbies have definitely done that. Where just one person's idling, the other person's standing on the front, and you're just going around. Like,
remember when Kevin Van Dam got DQ'd? One time he ever really got DQ'd in a tournament because he let his co-angler drive him around, and it was at Elite. That was back when they had co-anglers, and you weren't allowed to let your co-angler drive your boat, but he was doing the same thing.
Really? I did not know that.
That was the one time Kevin got DQ'd, I think, that I remember.
All right, fellas, let's start diving into Lay Lake, but really fast. Let's do an updated points tally. Let me actually pull up the group here, seeing as Brennan is not here. But Andy, if you want to pull up your points from Santee, let the folks know how you did.
Awful. 904. I had Hackney, Kennedy, Polnick, Mullins, and Krieger. Mullins got me a whopping total of 73 points, which buried me down at 904.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
Ethan, what about you?
Good.
866, man. Horrible. Patty Walters, the big letdown. Stetson Blaylock, I feel like, is always a safe pick. He finished 24th, BP in 5th. Hallman also, man, rough one there. He finished 96th, and then I had Keith Poche finish 62nd in Buckety.
He's 63rd, right?
Don't worry, this isn't going to make you feel as bad.
He ended 62nd. He started.
What did you do, Bailey?
After day one.
It wasn't me.
So mine.
It was it Jim Johnson?
Okay. Keep going. Keep rolling through. Sorry.
No, that's all of mine.
Boomer, what about you? Actually, we're going to say Boomer for last. We're going to say Boomer for last. He makes us all look bad. So I felt like an idiot for my score. But because he's not here, we're going to trash on him. Brendan let me actually pull up who we had.
Oh no.
So actually, hold on 1 second. Okay, so for Santee, I had John Cox in 28th, Brandon Lester with a shocking 79th, BP at 5th, Bradley Holman 96, Keith Poche 62. So I had 849. So the third worst out of this group thus far. But then we get to Brennan. Brennan has Patrick Walters 75th, Gerald Swindle 81st, Parazik 9th, which saved him some points. Buddy Gross 93rd, or Buddy Gross 91st. John Stokup 94th with 682.
Oh my gosh!
Ouch! And now Boomer, you can make us all look bad.
Well, you guys remember I didn't make the show, so I hope you guys gave me back. Deacon wasn't there to pay me back from all the making fun of him, but
I tried to be there. I got pulled over running into Idaho.
Did you?
Dude, yeah, live. It was wild, Boomer. Like the amount of people who were like, "Hey, did you make it out okay? Like, is everything all right?" Like, they messaged me, but we're having a live show, and I was coming from Oregon into Idaho. Never saw a stop boat check deal, and I was like, "Hey guys, I gotta go. I'm getting pulled over." Like, yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting pulled over." And the sheriff was like, "Hey man, you have to follow me. Turn around. Go get your
So dumb.
Little side note there, Deacon. You should have seen all the comments that pulled into the show after you got pulled over. It was like 15 minutes of mayhem. We couldn't get on track. It was hilarious.
Those stupid boat checks, man.
I hate them.
Especially in Idaho's the worst. Like, I remember I pulled into the one in Idaho after driving home from like Florida. And the lady's looking at him like, "Listen, lady, I've been checked since Colorado. Like, my boat's fine." Right. And out comes this sheriff, and she's like, "That guy had a kayak," and she's pointing at the freeway. "That guy had a kayak. Did you see that?" And it's almost like she was on a drug bust. Like, "I'm gonna get him," and flew in the car. She slid across the hood, slammed the door. Woo! And I'm like, "Did you really go to like the police academy to chase down boaters that don't go to boat inspections?" Like, I couldn't believe it. That's
Wait,
the
was this
dumbest
going
thing I've ever seen.
into Coeur d'Alene, like dropping in from Montana?
I was going the one that you come in right before you go up 4th of July Pass. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you guys could be like,
by her too. A different time. Both times I've ever been pulled over because of a boat stop. First of all, not good advice. I used to always blow through them. Never had any issues. This last Idaho has got me twice, dude. Idaho's hit me 2 times.
I'm like, "Ma'am," I want to be like, "You could be saving lives." You know what I mean? Like, is it your job to stop crime? Like, anyways, don't get me started.
She's the boat Gestapo.
Totally. Dukes of Hazzard across the hood.
Deacon, you've acquired a new nickname beyond just Sarah. It's also Sheekin.
What does that even mean?
It's she and Deacon.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, let's
free the Deek.
Free the Deek.
Dude, the 10 minutes after you got pulled over when you left, I don't think there's words. I think it was all of us just laughing in the entire comment section, just roasting your ass.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Boomer, I was very upset that you were not there. You would have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, God. It's probably good I wasn't. Deacon wouldn't be my friend anymore. I take too much,
Great idea.
Brain.
Here we go. New series dangler hats coming with Sheekin.
Sheekin.
Behind jail cells.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, I'll give I picked Poche.
Love it.
Because I figured he's a shallow water king. Christie, because he's a Cypress machine. Polinick, I don't know what. Oh, because he won. Never mind. Gaston, though. What'd you guys think of Gaston? Nobody picked Gaston.
Dude, Gaston's
he's
fire.
He is, and he's a swim jig machine. And they didn't have wind till like the 3rd day, so I figured he'd be the man. And then you can't pick Drew Cook. That dude's a machine. So, anyways.
So you had how many points?
1,230. 1,232.
He doubled Brennan.
Yes.
Did Brennan go across the board though? Did he just do the across the board picks again?
That's a great It's very
Percentage
great.
points.
I
They
don't
can chalk.
yeah, I don't think his strategy's working out for him. But so the updated tally in first place, we got Boomer with 5,373. We have Deacon up to second place, 4,789. Andy in third, 4,777, so 12 points behind. And then I'm in fourth with 4,756, so 11 points behind Andy. And then Brennan is in last with 4,576.
Wasn't Brennan second last week?
Now he was fourth. Fairly, I think Deacon was last week.
No, I was. I was last for
You were
2
last?
weeks in a row. Yeah. I was
Maybe
riding.
Deacon was third.
I was riding
Yeah.
out the caboose.
Either way, 2 to 4 is really tight. I mean, 20 points separated, so it could be pretty fun. Pretty fun going the last half stretch of the season. But yeah, thank you, Boomer, for making us look bad again on another week. Let's get into Lay Lake here. So unfortunate news. He did pop in the queue for a little bit. Mr. Wes Logan was trying to join us here, but his Wi-Fi and his signal is horrible. So unfortunately, he's not able to join us tonight. But let me.
Sucks because I picked him too. Damn it.
Me too.
I think we might have all picked him.
Well, let's everybody unpick him. I hope he's watching.
Yeah. All right, let me quickly share screen the weather. But what are you guys thinking? Any preliminary thoughts as to how this event might go down?
I feel
Freaking
like
grinder.
I think John Cox is trying to keep people away from the bank, Bailey, because he knows your status and talking about this on a podcast. And so I think with your conversation with him of saying they're not on the beds, everyone's offshore, I think there's still going to be some fish up shallow and on the beds.
Do you really think he thinks that critically?
It's a good point. I don't know.
The man just won 80 grand. I don't think he cares too much right now.
I'm with you. I'm just saying I think there definitely is going to be a lot of things at play, I guess, is what I'm saying. I think that there's going to be some shallow stuff. I think I'm looking forward to a post-spawn topwater bite.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I haven't looked at the weather or anything like that either, I guess, from that perspective, but go into that.
Yeah, so real briefly to get into the days of competition, we got Thursday is evening thunderstorms, so it shouldn't affect them throughout the. Actually, it could be a nice little, pressure drop, that type of deal. Get them going in the afternoon, potentially. 82 degrees. Friday, scattered thunderstorms, 85. Saturday, 88. Partly cloudy. Sunday, 90. Partly cloudy, so increasing temperature-wise each day. So it looks pretty much like your post-spawn is going to kind of be the deal. I doubt. I really, we thought Santee Cooper was going to be done with spawners too, but obviously that was completely wrong. But I could see a few being on bed still at lay, but I don't think that's going to be a heavy factor for a win. I'm in line with you, Deacon, and it's a lot of heavy post spawn, like fish still shallow, but not on beds. Like it'll be chatterbaits, topwater, spinnerbait, fluke,
chat spawn, fry garters, kind of thing.
Yep. Probably freaking wacky rig on the bank is going to be a heavy player again.
Watch out for Cobb, man. Gosh.
That dang fluke stick.
I know, and he cuts the tail off too.
Does he?
A lot of times, yeah. He'd cut the tail off at Santee.
Yeah,
there's a
picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he cuts it off. Depending on it's like if they're on a bed, he'll leave the tail on. It's really weird. But he loves that material for not bending over. You know how when you wacky rig, a lot of times with the Senko, the ends are heavier because the plastic's got a little more density to it, and when you throw it, it'll wrap around over the hook a little bit, especially when you go right through the plastic. He says the fluke stick doesn't do that, and he doesn't use an O-ring. Don't ask me how I know all these secrets.
I gotta look at the fluke stick.
I know who he rooms with. The tournament starts. I'm trying to get Polinick to jump on and give us an update, but he's not.
I do have a text update from Wes. He did say
Okay.
couldn't join. He texted us what's going on. He said right now Lay's fishing really tough. Early bite is going to be crucial. Going to have to catch 3 to 4 to weigh in the first 30 minutes to an hour. After that, just hope and pray to get another bite or two. Water temp is around 70 in the morning, getting up to 80. I believe offshore is going to play big time, hard spots, brush piles, around 60, 62 pounds to win. There's your update, folks. There's your insider info.
Who was that from?
Insane
That was from
shad
West.
spawn.
That was from West Logan.
I'm still picking him.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all are at this point.
You're not scaring me, Wes. You're still on my team.
You're not talking me out of it.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I think we said it at Santee. I feel like we said it at the event prior. I think you were the one that said it, Andy. It was like a junk fisherman. It's kind of like their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be pretty intriguing, but I feel like it's very straightforward on how it's going to get won for this one in regards to just a culmination of post-spawn patterns.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm really curious to see, like, yeah, I think to Andy's point, kind of a junk deal. Like if you can go up shallow, get a couple topwater bites first thing, and then you're just out on hard spots and piles, or if it's going to be a guy who's offshore the entire time, that would surprise me some for sure. But I don't really know much about Lay Lake either.
Boomer, you got any insight onto how Lay sets up?
It's Coosa River, right? So,
yep.
Yeah, those spots are goofy, but it's like I opened on Neely Henry a few years ago that I paid a lot of attention to because I fished it and got my butt kicked. But like the reason I like Wes is because he's really good with that. What do they call that bank grass they've got there?
Like the Coosa grass or whatever.
Yeah.
Or not, yeah, water willow.
I always call it water willow. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys that understand that water willow, that's a big deal. And they post spawn in it, right? They'll post spawn off of it. And I think they're kind of looking into it. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be brutal tough. I think it is. I don't know. I don't ever think that if you look back at Lay Lake tournaments, unless they're right in the pre-spawn or in the spawn, they're all that real, or like dead summer. They're not real knockout tournaments. So I think won't be big weights. That's my take.
I think Brad hits it nail on the head in the comments. Morning buzzbait or spook bite. Like I think for sure you'll see some of that action.
100%.
Not only in the morning either.
Yeah, I think you're going to see topwater. You're going to see frogs, buzzbaits, swim jig will probably play big time in that water willow. So,
yeah, guys chasing the shade line into the early morning. If it's storming, who even knows how that's going to go down.
So, to Team South Florida Fishing's point, how are the points set up? Because I don't understand it. Most of the time I get it because you can kind of see where the rankings are AOY wise. But why the heck is Will Davis in Group E?
Who knows?
This
is a Ronnie
error.
Yeah. That is a Ronnie Moore text and ask how the heck this works. We'll see if we can get the update for folks.
What bucket did you guys think was the hardest?
B.
Yeah, but I'm going to say B as well.
I thought C sucked. B's easy. I picked Brandon.
Anyways,
let's not get into it.
I thought C was relatively easy. We're all probably going to have the same pick there.
Yeah. We might as well start getting into him. Brennan is without service, so he did not send me his picks. So we did not have Brennan's picks. So we will get Brennan's update if he did select his lineup for the next fantasy fishing show. But let's get into, I will share screen. So speaking of this, did you guys also check your fantasy fishing on like day 1 or day 2 of the Santee Cooper event and see that
I never
0?
I never check it during the event for that reason. I always check after because it's always like changing and I just don't want to. It doesn't even matter.
Well, no, it wouldn't. Your picks wouldn't even load. Like it showed 0 again. I'm like, did I do it again? Like I thought I felt so stupid because if I didn't see any picks submitted for Santee and it was like halfway through day 1 or something. And apparently Brennan said the same thing showed up on his. Like it was interesting, but I don't know if that happened for anybody else.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's see here. Come on now. All right. So Boomer, you won last week. So let's start diving into Group E. Who's going to be your pick?
I'm on the Poche train until he
Poche
bombs.
until you bomb.
Yeah, I just didn't see anybody else in there that I think the one thing about the way he's fishing is pattern is irrelevant. Like pre-spawners go up into the current. So if he finds his way back into something, he could be fishing for current driven pre-spawn, post-spawn, it doesn't matter. So I like that he's just fishing for unpressured fish.
That's an absolute fact that he is always fishing for fish that have not seen much, or at least in a long time.
Yep, he's the only one with the guts to run that little aluminum boat all over the place. So, and they keep putting him in Group E, and like, I just think that he's a no-brainer in this group. So that's me.
Yeah, so we did actually get an answer on the last episode. We were talking about Poche, or saying like if for whatever reason AOI wise he was able to somehow get enough points to make the classic, or if he won the last event that qualifies for the classic, because he did not fish every single event, he's not allowed to qualify for the classic.
Was that an answer from like verified bass staff, or was it like we think
that was from Bassmaster staff?
Okay.
Super interesting.
By the TD or by just someone on the
by Bass internal staff?
Yeah, that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
I don't blame him on why, but it still kind of stinks for him.
Oh, here we go. So from Ronnie Moore, the buckets and how they're organized is AOI points, but Will and Clint Davis got swapped because of a last name mix-up.
Once people said that in the comments, they're right.
Nailed it.
That sucks.
Was that posted somewhere then, though? We just weren't paying attention?
Yeah, they said it in the comments, I think.
Well, no. I'm not saying the comment. Like, was it posted publicly? Like, I was curious how they knew. Like, did we miss something? But
I'm
thank you,
sure.
folks, in the comments.
Yeah.
All right. Deacon, what about you, man?
Man, I went with the mix-up because of bass. That's not the reason why, but I went with Will Davis Jr. Guy is fishing phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. And like a lot of these Alabama guys, like a lot of them could be fishing on the Elite Series right now. It's just a matter of the chance. Their competition around them is so stout, and I have no idea how local he is to Lay Lake, but I'm sure he's been there in local trails all these years, and he's sitting 20th in AOI, and I know it's a huge percentage in that Bucket E, like Bucket E always has, but that's for sure my pick.
Heck yeah. Andy?
I took Will Davis Jr. as well.
Well, I don't need an explanation.
Yeah, I'm going to take Deacon's explanation.
Well, I too am going Will Davis Jr. on this one.
Stack the board.
And I'm sure Brennan, if he was here, is probably going with Will Davis Jr. because he's probably playing.
And I am taking Will Davis Jr.
But any other... What?
I'm not switching.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I actually thought about taking Soak Up, but because he's had Soak Up
because of offshore.
No, not just offshore. Like post-spawn fish can be funky and it can be anyone's game. And I feel like when you have a post-spawn funk, somebody like Soak Up, who is also in a funk, could possibly rise to the top.
Soak Up,
whatever. Dude, I'm gonna mess up like 30 times tonight. I need to go to bed. Soak up, whatever. Tomato.
I'm surprised at the season KJ Queen's having. I feel like there's been a couple events that's real like Murray that have been right in his wheelhouse that he's kind of struggled. I don't know if there's something going on or what, but I feel like Lake had set up for him too. All right, Bucket D.
Once Soak Up breaks out, I got a feeling he'll be a good pick. I don't know if he can do it yet. Soak Up. John.
I like that better. All right, Broomer. Bucket D.
Sorry.
Do you just want to make the pick for all of us?
It's Logan, man.
We're picking what you're picking.
Stinking Logan. Logan, I hope you're watching, dude. Go smash him.
Logan Latuzo?
Wes Logan.
Oh, Wes Logan. There's two Logans.
No. After his win at Neely Henry, like, yeah. I feel like Lay like sets right up for him.
It's hard to not pick Wes on the Kusa,
Gosh.
but there's a few Kusa guys in here. One that I've been teetering with and I will avoid for this event. But Deacon, what about you?
Man, I went with West too, and I think something to remember with this is it's not the same lake as Neely Henry and that kind of thing. I know it's close to it, but like I have a hard time I think honestly more than actually looking at results. But what burns in my mind, 3 of my picks are here because of watching that Elite Series event closely. Same time of year, obviously different place, but very similar place. And 3 of the guys that finished in the top 10 that were on camera a bunch, I have in here because of like envisioning that same thing happening. And I think it's something you got to be careful of, but I feel like I watch stuff, that burns in my head way more than like what actually happened. But it's like, man, these 3 guys did good on a very similar place nearby. And Wes is one of those guys that I think will be just fine. And he's saying it's tough and all that. And he's probably sandbagging.
So that's what? Wes, Paul Mueller, who else? Cruz?
It's hard not to choose Atkins too.
Dude, you had a bunch of guys on camera there. Here, I'll give you the top 10 from Neely Henry. You had Wes, Paul Mueller, G-Man, Christie, Matt Erie, Brian New, Bob Downey, Brock Mosley, Austin Felix, and Todd Otten.
Todd. Old Todd.
Here's a good story for you guys that are choosing your picks. But Atkins, if you ever watched him, and I talked to him at Brandon's wedding years ago, but he had to make a decision at that Open if he was going to stay in MLF or if he was going to fish. It was the Neely Henry Open, and he needed to fish that Open to make the Elites. He qualified for the Elites, and he had literally skipped an MLF event to do it and went out with like all the pressure in the whole world on Neely Henry. So I know it's Neely Henry, but caught him in that Open and ended up qualifying because of that Open at that time frame. So he was super hard not to pick.
And that was December, right? That Neely Henry Open.
No, I don't think it was that late.
It was like super late, I thought.
It wasn't December though. I think it was like October or it was hot. I remember it just being really hot. But anyways, I just will never forget. Like it was tough. He lined him up. And
December 3rd through 5th. We're talking about the 20. Oh no, this is Lay Lake. I'm not talking Neely Henry.
Yeah, I was just talking about Neely and the way he qualified with that tough bite.
It was October.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyways, he's a good pick too. He was hard to pick. No, it was him or, in my opinion, it was him or Logan for when I was looking at it. But
I like it.
that's my 2 cents.
Andy, what about you?
Taking Logan, just a gut feeling.
Just a gut feeling.
Just a gut feeling. I'm a man of few words today. Just a gut feeling.
Well, find a few more words, Andy. Damn it.
Sorry.
It's okay. I don't have any words either. I'm going West Logan.
Find some words, Bailey.
I know. There's a few. I mean, it's kind of hard to not go local for this one because the Kusa is an interesting beast of a river system. So, like, I mean, a Josh Strasner is one that pops out to me. Even one like obviously we talked about Atkins. I could see Fouts vibing with this place just from the Tennessee River. Not that they act the same, but just from how fish move with that current system. I could see Fouts having a good event here, which he needs one. No top 50s yet this year. I could see Fouts turning the season around today or for this week. All right, Bucket C. Boomer, what you got?
Jason Christie.
Old Christie. Any rhyme or reason?
He's a genius with the water willow. He's really good with the buzz bait. He was in the top 10 in that Neely Henry. So I just kind of like Deacon. I'm just thinking about my experience, the things that burn in my mind. And I fished that Open, and I just remember watching some of that stuff on the way home. And Christie was doing really well. He was also in that tournament to qualify back for the Elites, and so I really paid attention to it. But all of that post-spawn stuff seems to be in his wheelhouse. Like him with the jig is a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous man.
Yeah, he'll swim it, flip it. So, Christy.
Deacon, what about you?
Yeah, man. I'm chalk right there with Jake on that one. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I switched my pick. I didn't even notice looking back here. I have G-Man. Same concept.
Mm.
Though. Same thing. Super. He smokes him on a buzzbait. It always seems like around that like gator grass or that water willow stuff, like where everyone else is throwing a swim jig, he throws a buzzbait, and he'll throw a swim jig too. Don't get me wrong, but just a junker, someone who's going to feel comfortable right at home in Alabama, I think he'll be just fine. I'm not going to say he's going to win this event, but he's going to have a good tournament.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Andy?
Well, I don't have as many words to say, but I went Christie, and the event that sticks out in my mind, like a post spawn that I think he won, was a Dardanelle event, fishing like that water willow stuff, swim jig post spawn. He's going to catch them, and I think he almost win the Open on Lay Lake. I feel like, or he was in the top 10 in the fall.
He almost won the Elite.
Yeah,
I mean, he finished third on Neely Henry. Sorry, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Behind West there.
I was thinking about the year Christie qualified to get back to the Elite Series. I think he almost won the Lay Lake Open.
I know
It was Neely Henry.
Keith Carson won it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Neely Henry.
Neely Henry, he was fourth.
That had to have been it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm mush. So I don't.
I want to say he was in that though. To your point, Andy.
Yeah, I think there was an Open on Lay Lake that he almost won like 2 or 3 years ago before he got back on the Elites.
Let's see.
It was like that. It might have even been like the COVID year where everything was weird.
That was
like
2020. It was December.
Yeah.
It
was like really hot.
Jason
What do you
Christie
guys think?
136th place. So no, he was not close to winning.
Perfect. Yep. See, I'm all off here. No.
What do you guys start equating their Angler of the Year status when you're like about this far into the season? Like Christie's in 61st. Like I just saw that. Makes it a tough pick. Like I like to pick momentum, right?
Oh, I think it totally plays a factor, but I mean, I think it plays a factor. I don't know how much of a factor. Like someone right now, like you look at like a Luke Palmer coming off a win, sit and get AOI. Like I think that totally plays. But I think also you could argue the standpoint of like a Christie, like, okay, for him to make the classic, he's going to need to get after it these next couple events. And he's a capable guy to do it.
Motivation.
Track.
I hear that.
Yeah. Other than him and Lester, this is why I thought this bucket sucked. Anyway, this is a tough bucket to pick one out of. Like there's other than Lester and Christie, I thought there wasn't any like, oh, that's easy. Anyways.
Yeah, well, this one, I'm gonna rock with Justin Hamner, Alabama boy. Go with the jerkbait, scoping him. I don't know why it's is more one just a guy that I've talked to when we were actually at Neely Henry with him about it, and he's fish lay, and I feel like the guy's comfortable there, so I'm going to rock with somebody that understands it. Somebody that's a little bit lower in regards to percentages. I'm going to rock with Justin Hamner on this one. But there's a couple guys in here that I could see doing well. I mean, I can't pronounce his freaking first name still, but Fujita, I mean, he's just kind of got a really good streak going right now of finishes.
Kyoya, something, I don't know. Okay.
I'm not even going to try to attempt it. But another one, just going off that location bias, Joseph Webster, another Alabama boy. Believe he fishes lay heavily. Another great pick in this one, too, if you're trying to go lower percentages.
Oh, dude, all these Alabama guys, like.
I'm trying to think if there's any other good ones here. I could see Cody Huff having a good event here. I don't know why this one seems his name seems to jive with me. But, all right, Group B. Boomer, who you got?
The Polikanik.
Polikanik.
B. Polikanik.
I like that.
He's still on the water. So I was going to say, hey, take Wes Logan's spot and give us an update. But I think he'll fish till dark. He's probably fishing still at dark. But, yeah, I think he's just fishing, get junking. I think last year at Neely Henry in the bass deal, he was throwing a tiny little frog on like one of our smaller rods. I mean, just making it up as he goes. He's kind of the man. But the problem is this is a pretty tough bucket to pick. So I wasn't playing favorites to the alpha guys, but I mean, after that last derby, pretty hard not to pick. Dude, he better not burn me.
And no, like, I mean, he is just someone who I think excels a ton in this like slight post spawn deal where, I mean, you saw, I mean, I think where it opened my eyes. I mean, your eyes are always open with Palmic, but last year on Santee, when he would like be out fishing a shallow pile, he'd be out on some piles and then he'd throw a big topwater or like, and then he'd be up on the bank and like, you know, like you're saying, that junking of just like that flow state that he gets in. Like, I think he did that again at this last one on Santee, and it's going to set up the same out here. Like if there's an offshore bite, he'll be out there doing that for a minute, and then he'll be up chasing a big one on a topwater, big Coosa River spot, eating a spook. Like I think it'll be fun to watch him do well.
Letting intuition run. I like it.
You don't ever see him like burn down a bank with a bait. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't do that. Like he fishes along and goes, oh, there's a blah, 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 and throws at that. Or, oh, look at that. You know what I mean? Like you don't ever see him like with one bait for longer than 5 minutes, just covering water down a bank. You ever notice that? Kind of like when you're talking about Santee, he's on definitely the winning pattern, throwing at these piles, and he's like, oh, look over there. There's some blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And just like, dude, I'd love to be in that state fishing tournaments. Like he's just, oh, that clicks. That's great. Almost like he's like got a direct feed to the fish computer and it's giving him all this opportunity. He said one time, he goes, I got a serious case of what's around the next corner. That's what he told me one time. It's pretty crazy.
I like that. So you label him as a target fisherman is what you're saying. Like he needs to be throwing at something specific, not a guy that's just going to go fish a flat.
No, but you ever like, I mean, especially lately for me, like I feel like if I burn down a bank for longer than 15 minutes, I'm really not being open-minded. And you don't ever see Brandon pick up a spinnerbait and just go down a flat. Like he'll be halfway down it and one of his mega live target lock, blah, 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 will bing. And he'll be like, oh, did you see over there is the stump? Maybe I should throw a drop shot at it. You know what I mean? Like he's looking at everything all at once. And like, gosh, was it Santee Cooper where he stopped? Might have been Santee Cooper. And grabbed a drop shot rod that still was tied up from smallmouth fishery and retied a heavier leader. Took the time. Most people don't have the patience in that, but he's so comfortable in where he's at in his life and what he's doing, and he's where he belongs. He tied on a 10-pound leader and threw into it and caught an 8-pounder on camera. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have looked at that rod and been like, I ain't throwing that in there.
Oh, that was the 8-pounder with a branch that came back to the boat with it, right?
Yeah, he called it a catfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that comfort level allows you to fish junk tournaments like he's going into. Just kind of if he doesn't do well, it's because his motor fell off or something. That's why I wanted to pick Scott Martin, but I just don't think that. I think Brandon's kind of grooving a little better. He's got the new baby pattern going this year too.
What a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying we're going to see a dub?
You never know. You know who else has a new baby that's just having a just out of the box great year?
Who's that?
Bryant Smith.
Dude, I knew low key. I mean, you can say that about any of these guys who are hammers that make the Elite Series, but I was like, he'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
you really know because you travel with him, but I just looking at his results and stuff and seeing like him get thrown into places where he's never been and like exceed. Like, he'll be, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So sorry for my going off path so far. Sorry for taking your time there, Deacon.
Oh, you're good.
Deacon, did you make your pick yet?
For C, we talking?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I said G, man.
You said G, man? Or no, sorry, B. We're in B.
B. Man, in bucket B was the hardest bucket for me. Don't know why, other than the fact that it didn't have any like super Alabama river style guys in there. Why is this not loading now? It's stuck on come on. Every time anything fantasy fishing issues I have, I just blame it on Ronnie Moore. It's gotta be right.
We'll clip that. We'll clip that. And
He's
send it to
blocking you.
It's like, oh, you want to switch to bucket D? You can't. No, man, this was just a gut pick more than anything. And it was just thinking maybe if there's anything offshore. And I don't know if it's just because the states have the same starting initial, but I think guys from Arkansas do really well on any river systems or anything like in the South, Alabama. Like, I don't know. Anyways, but I mean, so I just went with Joey Cifuentes, man. I had no rhyme or reason other than the fact of like being like, man, I think he'll do well there. I'm sure he's fished there before throughout his career or in the opens when they went there. I mean, it's a complete different time of year. But anyways, I went with Cifuentes.
Yeah, he's fishing hot. He was in top 10 at Bugs Island last week for
that was the other reason he finished 6th at Bugs Island.
37th in the points.
I kind of really do like that Arkansas comparison though. Not the starting with the same letter one, but like the one where you're talking about how they can set up similar.
Well, like I mean, you think of like all the guys, like a Stetson Blaylock, man. Like he does well everywhere, especially in rivers. Like he's gonna have a good finish. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win it, but he's gonna be in the top 30
for sure. Now I like that pick. Andy, what about you?
In Group B, I actually took Matt Robertson. I don't think he's gonna have 25 pounds to lead day one.
You sure?
But yeah,
third tournament in a row, he would do it.
That'd be wild. But I do think he's going to catch a limit, hopefully every day, and be in the top 10 at the end of the deal. He's fishing really good right now. He keeps like towards the end, so maybe he can pull it all together.
He had a really cool. I was gonna see if I can find it. Here we go. He did a really cool Q&A with Jay Kumar from Bassmaster on their newsletter. I don't know if you guys have had the chance, if you guys are subscribed to it, to read it. And they talked about that, like his new style, if he's just like doesn't give a damn, just swinging for it. If he's like not trying to win, then like
really
doesn't care. Basically was... and it's quoted. Matt Robertson's quoted here saying, "If I'm aiming for first and fall short of that, that's okay. But if I'm aiming for top 50 to make a check and fall short, that's not okay. So that's why I'm fishing for first place every single time." So he's essentially, he goes, I'm swinging for the fences every single tournament. I'm not fishing for checks anymore. I'm fishing for blue trophies." Which is like, so there's one quote here that said, let's see. Hold on. Where is this the one? He goes, I know a lot of people see me as I'm choking, but I know how to close on big tournaments. I've won opens, multiple opens. I've won locally. He goes, but I've also learned, so I know how to close, but I've also learned when it's your time, it's your time. But fishing like I am, if I hook up those other couple days, I'm going to win. And when I do, I'm going to blow it out of the water. So I put mad respect on that style. That's just the, slap them around. And I'm going to,
go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And not like, it's like picking up the big bait for the big bite and not putting it down and not being like, 1 o'clock, you don't even have a limit of, quitting on it and going to grab a drop shot to fill a limit. Like he's just like, I don't care. I'm going to keep rocking with this swim bait for the rest of the day. I don't care if I come in before. So I dig that. It makes for interesting TV. That's for sure.
Yeah. I could see him like throwing a top water all day long and just hoping to get 5 bites. Because I feel like post spawn, if you can get 5 bites on top water throughout the day, they're going to be good ones. And probably some call shad because they just eat that during the shad spawn, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we saw big swim baits play at Murray. We saw he was throwing the big 8-inch big swim baits at Santee. I think it was a call shad. Like, are we going to see that here at Lay? Like, does Lay have the caliber of fish for guys to be throwing?
It has gizzards in it, so that very likely could.
That'd be interesting. For this one, I was really confused on bucket B in regards to, I wasn't really sure who to pick. Like, we were sitting offline here for probably almost a good 10 minutes, and that was the only bucket I didn't have somebody picked yet because I could not make up my mind. And somebody that we've proven time and time again that they can do well anywhere, and there's always I think Deacon mentioned it either early this season or last year, where it's like you can never ever count him out in any tournament, anywhere, anytime. And that's Brandon Polnick. Like he's shown he can win and be in contention anywhere in the country. So more out of the fact that of that, but also like I don't know who the heck to pick in this one. I'm going BP. So Group A, last bucket here. Boomer, who you got?
I can't get my team to come back up. I went over to mess with my Drain the Lake and I screwed it up. So let's
pick 8, Boomer. 8.
Dang it. So you have to pick on Sarah first, and then I'll figure out what's wrong with this thing.
All right, Sarah.
I'm telling you, it's Ronnie.
Cheekin, you're first.
All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Back to envisioning guys doing well from previous river style Alabama tournaments, man. I'm going Matt Erie. He's a low percentage pick. I'm just trying to make up some points in some of these. Like my bucket A and bucket B, where he should probably be the least risky, I'm being the most risky. And I've got Matt Erie and Joyce Fuentes. But anyways, Matt was catching some of those big Coosa River spots on a spook, and I loved watching it. And everyone that bit it were real big ones. And so I could see this being a thing again. He's also deadly. I think a lot of people don't realize how deadly that guy is with a wacky rig when they're up in that spawn funk kind of going on. So, man, I'm going Erie on that. Could burn me for sure, but man, he's having a good season. He's 10th AOI right now. He doesn't have any top 10s, but he's had a lot of just solid finishes. That's what I'm going with.
He's 14th AOI.
Okay.
Isn't he? Yeah, 14th. No, he was really tough.
Maybe I'm going because the fantasy rankings are fantasy points rankings, not AOI. Okay. He's 10th in fantasy points, which is 14th AOI. Okay.
But he's 14th. Yeah. No, he's having a blowout season. He's doing good.
I want to say he's one of your more consistent, check fishermen. In that regards to like, he's not always in the top 5 in contention. He makes the top 10.
He makes the classic all the time, man.
Yeah, I mean, he almost won the classic at Ray Roberts. I think if he landed the one fish he lost, he might have beaten Hank Cherry. But he seems like a guy that's always cashing a check, always in the top 30.
I agree.
I like that.
Student of the game.
That's right. Andy, what about you?
Scott Canterbury.
Oh, Andy.
I think the buzzbait's going to play in pretty close. He lives in Odenville, which is a little north, I think, of Lay Lake from looking at a map. So I think Canterbury's going to play pretty good in Group A.
Andy stole my pick.
Well, that's what you get for not taking your turn, Boomer.
I know.
Yeah, thief.
Thief.
You'd be the thief, technically, Andy.
I picked him first, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he lives right there. He's also 21st in points, and he's that guy that doesn't have like this huge social media. Like nobody pays attention to him, but he's like Erie. He's just sneaking into the top 20 against all these hammers. Yeah, he's
overdue.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, he hasn't really had like a big performance beyond really the classic this year since he won AOI. Yeah, he hasn't really been in the running for a dub or AOI. But all right, Boomer, what you got?
Group A?
Yes, sir.
Group A. What did I just do? Oh, I was looking at my AOI points. Oh, I said Canterbury. Sorry.
Oh, you were going Canterbury? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Canterbury.
For this one, I was about to change my pick when we were talking offline a little bit. We were talking about David Gaston. You guys almost convinced me to ride the train, but one who's got me a little bit more confidence. You guys see a trend with my picks here from location bias, but I'm going Kyle Welcher. I think another one who does well, just kind of from an intuition, just rides the wave, does what he feels like. Doesn't seem to force anything, is very stubborn in regards to he likes to just do it his way. And also he's an Alabama guy, which there's a lot of Alabama guys in this one. But yeah, I'm going Kyle Welcher in this one.
Dude, Group A sucks. Welcher's in 5th place. Like, yeah, tough group of dudes.
Any other outliers in Group A that you guys could see doing well besides the ones we picked?
Brandon Cobb.
Nobody picked Cobb.
Hard to bet against him with a Senko.
Nobody picked Cobb.
Nobody picked Cobb. Nobody picked Ike. Nobody picked
Brandon Card, who's been fishing really well this year.
Yeah, 4 top.
Nobody picked Cox. Didn't him and his buddy just first and second in the last invitational?
Mm-hmm.
Him and like 2 of the best fishermen to ever come out of Florida. Yeah,
The two
Cox
of
is
the
he'll get rolling here pretty quick, and he'll be the guy that we talk about on the top of every leaderboard.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Last time none of us picked Cox. He was in the top 10. So look for him to be in the top 10.
Word to the wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slinging that Berkeley General around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, people have been able to see my weight this whole event thing because I forgot to take that part off. But I'm rocking with 58.12. You guys heard at the beginning of the show, Wes was saying 60 to 62 is his pick to win it all. But what do you guys think?
61.3.
Deke?
I got 58.9.
Debbie Downer.
It's the same as you.
Oh, I did pick 58. I'm an idiot.
He still went lower than you, Bailey, so he's still a downer.
Technically, yeah.
I have 54.12 or
Whoa!
54.5. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think the first day is going to be really good, but if you look at the weather, I think it's going to, I don't know.
John
think, like-
King, get off that crap hole, man. Green River, that place sucks. Know it's your home pond.
Where are you seeing this?
John King.
Up a couple.
Green River Lake. Only thing biting
There was
are the eaters.
There's a college national championship there that I fished in like 2016 or something. And like, dude, I think 2 guys caught limits both days. Granted, it was July in Kentucky. So, but it was brutal.
Oh boy. All right. Big Bass. What do you guys think Big Bass for this event's going to be?
And is it going to be a spot or a largemouth?
It'll probably be a green one.
Well, which green, Andy?
Oh, large bucket. Sorry.
It's going to be a big mouth bass.
A 1 6-pounder.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like a 5.5 post spawn to 6.5. I would think somewhere in there.
5.5 to 6.5. You're giving us quite the range, Andy.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Somewhere
what?
in there.
I'm going to pick
all right,
4
6'3".
pounds to 6 pounds.
6'3". All right.
I
Large
call
bucket.
anywhere between 4 and 9 pounds. I'm right.
I want this bank to this bank, and it's all mine.
Yeah.
You go down that bank over there and you follow for 4 miles. That's all mine.
Yeah.
I was going that direction.
It's funny. I was thinking of like how Mercer used to ask the Elite Series guys like all the quotes in the morning. Like the guys would quote Tommy Biffle, and he'd be like, "I cut you." Like, that's my bank to my bank. I'll cut you.
They should bring that back, honestly. Those were so good.
Dude, those were the best. Like imitating each other. I loved it.
John Cruz was always the best one they interviewed because he like really got into it, especially
Oh,
like
did
the
he?
impressions. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Sean Crispy one was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, the big old pig. Whatever.
Dude, I still cannot get over every time Steve Kennedy has a big fish on, man. He just
Oh, dude, he
loses his
giggles.
mind.
It's so
yeah,
funny.
he's just, oh, don't you come on. No.
Just frantically running around the boat.
Just this high pitch, just like a little kid. I just love it.
Oh,
I got a better question for you. The guy that catches the biggest bass of the tournament, does he make top 10?
no.
Probably not.
No, it never is.
Does
man.
he
That's why
make the day 3 cut?
Yes.
Yes.
Stop
those are
copying
very
me,
sure
Andy.
answers. Wow, yeah, you guys like knew your answer right away.
We rehearsed
Yeah.
this before.
It seems like in postponed
Ooh.
events, especially like this stuff, and if it is a big mouth, like Andy said, that
One of them-
It's a big
it's a big mouth green one.
Big mouth
If it's
large.
a big mouth green one, yeah.
I've been looking
There,
at too many smallmouth the past week. All right, like
yeah, the smallmouth have ruined
You make it
his brain.
sound like a bad thing.
oh,
yeah,
my
literally,
hands
the
are
most
literally bleeding like on every finger. I
Oh,
can't
I'm
even-
so depressed.
hard.
Fishing
So
every day.
Died
Oh
on
my
Lake
God.
Erie. Oh,
Can you turn him off? Bailey, can you just like
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. He's got it.
radio silence?
It's a much more positive show now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just so tired of wailing on 5-pounders.
Sorry, I have a button. I can bring myself back.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm so tired from wailing on 5-pounders. My forearms hurt. The drag was just ripping all day.
In all seriousness, though, it is starting to get a little tough. So next couple days, I have my work cut out for me.
Tough fishing,
dude.
And beating up on
Yeah,
those schools too much.
Full moon, water's warming quick, and there was a tournament and like 500 boats out over the weekend. The fish are in really small areas. It's getting to the point where I have to position my boat a very certain way just to get them to bite if I can see them on live. Like I had probably 60, 70 bass we casted at today. It just ran away. Like 70 feet out, like bait comes down, I can see it. And the bass literally, as it's coming down, it's running away. So
Getting a little tuned into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I really feel bad for you while I was working today.
Hey, I didn't send you that many. I don't think I sent you pictures today. Yesterday was.
Oh, you sent me pictures.
Did I?
Jerk.
Oh, yeah. I sent you the first 6-pounder we put in the boat today.
Yeah. It's so bad.
I found
All
a
right.
magical spot, right?
Yeah.
Saved my butt the last 2 days.
Dude, you sound like you're about to fall asleep, like right now.
I am.
All right, well, let's run through Drain the Lake so that Daddy Andy can go to bed.
Daddy Andy.
I got to be up in 3 hours to
Pop a
feed
full.
the baby. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say.
All right, Andy, run through your picks and go to damn.
No,
bed.
I'm good. I'm here. Hold on, let me pull it up. Drain the lake. Where is it? My team. All right, Drain the Lake. I have Canterbury, Atkins, Hamner, West Logan, Mark Menendez, Palmer, Welcher, and Webster. I want Alabama heavy.
Alabama. I like it.
Alabama.
Bamba Lamb. What do you got, Deacon?
I got 6 Alabama guys. I got David Gaston, Matt Herron, Wes Logan, Luke Palmer, Josh Straisner, Will Davis Jr., Clint Davis, and Matt Erie.
Nice. Boomer, did you pick 8?
Watley. I got 8 this time. I'm dying to Drain the Lake. I must not be paying any attention to it. Like I just picked them. Like, oh, I like the way his name's at.
I think you missed the whole tournament, too.
I think I might have. Dang it. Atkins, Davis Jr., Hamner, Kennedy, Logan, Palmer, Welcher, Watley.
I got
Good.
Cifuentes, Will Davis, Hamner, Heron, Wes Logan, Logan Latuso, Bryant Smith, and Josh Straisner. And the tally actually currently for Drain the Lake is Deacon in the lead with 8,374. Brennan in second with 8,127. I'm in third with 7,556. Andy in fourth with 7,463. And Boomer in last, not picking 2 of the tournaments out of the 5 thus far with 5,031.
Yeah, there's a problem here with Santee Cooper. And Murray. Whoops.
What's up, boys? Anything else before we wrap up tonight's show? Anything we might have missed? I think we covered everything. Wish we could have Brennan on. We'll obviously hear his picks on the next show, which I think is Sabine. Sabine's next.
Yeah, man. About a month away.
Ouch.
Is it bad that I'm actually excited to watch the Sabine though?
I actually enjoy it. Like,
Grinders.
yeah.
The only thing I hate is that the Louisiana side, that private water, like you can actually make water up there.
It would be so much better if they could go over there too. But they would all be in the same canal together, flipping reeds and just boat after boat after boat. Like the first year they went to the Sabine, if I remember correctly. I think that was when Chris Lane won, and they were all like flipping in the same canal together.
Was that the TJ one? Where Dennis TJ, the debacle with that, the very first Sabine? Was that Sabine?
I think so. I think this is the one where there was like a guy coming out of a bathroom and like fishing in the parking lot flooded.
Wait, what?
Andy,
What were you watching, bro?
No, it was literally on the Bassmaster show. Like a guy came out of a porta john, Cassie. It might have been Was that Brandon Boomer that did that?
I don't remember.
What?
Oh boy.
I'm so lost.
Yeah, go to YouTube and look up the first Sabine River, and there was like a flood there. Yeah, and a guy literally, I think it was BP, like came out of a porta john with the rod casting. The water was like over their ankles deep in the parking lot because they got so much rain.
Yeah, I can
There was
remember that.
drama.
Yeah,
That's the one place that Brandon every time he talks about it, he talks about the one time he was running down the lake and hit a refrigerator.
What?
Dude, river,
He
like,
tells the story. Oh,
jump
dude, there's so much trash in the water. He's like, yeah, I hit something hard. And,
versus, like,
yeah. I don't remember if it cost him a lower unit or not, but he's like, man, I got to go mark that. What was it? And it was a Frigidaire, an old refrigerator. T-boned it on plane.
Did he
Wow.
catch it off of it?
no, he marked
Yeah, was it-
it again.
Yeah. I was like, was there any beer in there? Did you check?
That's awesome.
We're going to troll the motor back from that. You might as well see if there's any beer in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, boys, great show tonight. Good to be back for Fantasy Fishing. Appreciate everybody joining in. Fun as always. If you guys are good, we'll call this thing a night.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, folks. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow night. We got Luke Palmer. He couldn't make last week, so makeup show tomorrow night with Luke Palmer. We'll see y'all tomorrow night.
Gonna be
Peace.
sweet.